I woke up this morning and saw snow on the mountain near me, so I decided to head to the Superstition Mountains to see snow and also check out the wildflowers. Yes, combination of snow and wildflowers. First, I headed down the Peralta Road. It starts off paved, then it turns into a decent dirt road, but the farther you go, the worse it gets. It's actually March 2nd. A little late, you'd think, to have snow. It's not a very common sight. So when we have it, I want to get out there and check it out. I called Kelly as I was heading out to see if he wanted to go. I pretty much knew what his answer would be. "It's cold. I've seen snow before. I'm going to go play pickleball." So I headed out by myself. Gives me more time to take pictures. So now you'll see even more pictures than normal. Stop a couple times and take some pictures, and then I'm back on the dirt road. You see, it's getting worse. Muddier and muddier. And there are, at least 3 different water crossings. None of them are very deep, easy to cross in my Jeep. The only miserable thing is the whole vehicles getting coated with mud, which would be fun to clean up when I got home. Today's trivia question will help you understand why I get so excited about seeing snow in the desert. So, according to the National Weather Service, how many times has there been measurable snow in Phoenix in the last 100 years? And during that time, what's the record level of snowfall? Well, there have been trace amounts of snow numerous times in the Phoenix area. Measurable snow is a whole nother issue. According to what I could find, there are only 6 times where there's been measurable snow in Phoenix. And 2 of those occurred on back-to-back days in 1990. What do you think the record for the most measurable snow? Well, that occurred in 1933, 1 inch. So, as you see me walk through this snowy wonderland, you'll understand why it's interesting to go see snow. We don't see it very often. And even though this isn't Phoenix, Superstition Mountains are just east of the valley. I kind of still consider it part of the metropolitan area. And while there wasn't measurable snow on this day in Phoenix, this was close enough to run out to go see. As you could see from that sign, this is the Lost Gold Mine Trail, which is the same one we hiked in one of the previous videos to Daysite Mine. This sign tells a little of the story of Jacob Waltz and the Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. It's an interesting legacy he left behind, one I'm sure he didn't even expect to. Without it, we wouldn't even know who Jacob Waltz was. What's the best legacy that you can leave? I knew a guy that owned a zoo, and he was going to buy a couple Galapagos tortoises from me because he knew they'd be around for a couple 100 years, long after he'd passed. That would be his legacy. They say the best legacy is not to leave your children money, but it's to share memories and experiences. It's what you've taught them, what they've learned. And I guess these videos are part of my legacy. I didn't write a story, I didn't write a book, but it's sharing my life. Since this is an old guy's hike, I can talk about things that old guys talk about. The other day I was talking to Kelly and he was trying to say something, and I said, "You're sensing your mortality." And he's like, "Yeah, that's it." You can't hardly ask for a more beautiful sight than hiking through the desert on a bright sunny day with snow. Just very cool. Kelly said you ought to talk about mortality on your video. Yep. Hiking in the Superstition Mountains. This is a trail we took to Daysite Mine. But it's just spectacular, seeing the snow on the cactus. I only hiked a little ways down this trail, and then I went to the Peralta Trail, shown here, trying to get some more views of snow on the cactus. It's understandable that Kelly was thinking about his own mortality. Having been diagnosed with cancer, having been in a car accident, it's only natural to sense our mortality. I know it came more to me recently with the death of my brother, the death of my mom, and even with my pulmonary embolism, blood clot. I could just as easily not be here as be here if I hadn't gone to the doctor. All these things get you thinking about your own mortality. Life expectancy for a white male in the U.S. is currently just over 73 years. Did you know that life expectancy has actually decreased over the past couple of years? Makes you think. This is a trail. It's like walking up a stream bed. All the snow melts right into the trail. But it's a beautiful sight. A few years ago, I re-roofed my house. And I thought, well, that should be the last time I ever have to do that in my life. I thought a similar thing when I had my septic tank pumped. I may only have to do that once more in my life. Recently bought a new car. You can actually hear the water running. And that's the trail I'm walking down. How many more new cars will I own? This looks like the road heading out. I'm going to go to the opposite side of the mountain to see if I can get a picture of snow and wildflowers. You know, I mentioned how few times it snows in Phoenix. Could this be the last time I ever go and see snow on the Superstition Mountains? When we're younger, we view aging differently. Each new age brings new opportunities. I'm old enough so I don't have to sit in a car seat. I'm old enough that I can get my driver's license. I'm old enough to vote. In athletics, each year we improve. We build more muscle. We get stronger. We develop more skill. We increase our knowledge each year. By the time we're a teenager, we think we know it all. But did you know our brain isn't fully mature until our late 20s? The prefrontal cortex is the last part of the brain to mature. It plays a central role in our cognitive control functions. Dopamine, attention, impulse inhibitions, memory. So when your teenager does something stupid, it may just be be partly because their brain isn't fully developed. As we get older, all this changes. Instead of getting stronger, we lose muscle mass. Our hearing gets worse. Our eyesight diminishes. Our hair turns gray, or in my case, falls out completely. When I was a child in school, they used to play videos, "I'm no fool," with Jiminy Cricket. "I'm no fool, no siree, I'm going to live to be 103. Now, I'm no longer concerned with how long I live, but with the quality of life. Maintaining your health, a healthy diet, and staying active both mentally and physically, and remaining socially engaged are keys to successful aging. In addition to vision loss and hearing loss, other challenges of aging include weight gain, sleeping problems, nutrition problems, fragile bones, depression, and memory loss, and your tolerance for drugs or alcohol will decrease. As we age, we get wrinkles and lines, our skin gets thinner, we get dark spots, our ears get longer, and hair grows in places it never used to. I guess what I'm saying is basically we're becoming less attractive. Do you know that they claim that we reach our peak in attractiveness at about 30? At 65 years old, women don't give me a second glance. In fact, they don't even give me a first glance. As senior citizens, we're generally unnoticed. And that's one of the challenges. Back when I used to attempt dating, one of the first questions you're asked is, "What do you do?" And many people, their whole identity is tied to their work. And once they retire, they lose that identity, they lose that position of authority, and it can become challenging for them to accept this diminished role they play in life. This is why it's important to be well-rounded and have a variety of interests and a number of friends. Though it may sound as if I'm making it seem negative to grow old, it's actually quite the opposite. Once I retired, I no longer had the pressure and stresses of work. I had more time to spend with my family. I was financially secure and had time to travel and pursue other interests. One of the reasons I enjoy pickleball is it still gives me an outlet to compete. And even though my athletic abilities have diminished, my skills in pickleball have actually improved over the last couple of years. When I play golf, I know what I used to be able to do, how far I hit it. I know I can't compete athletically playing basketball or softball. And pickleball is the one sport, since I didn't do it as a youth, that I'm actually better at now than I was before. I've had the opportunity to travel around the world.
Superstition Mountains.
Come out on a weekday morning to see beautiful sights like this. Spring flowers with snow on the mountain. I can do whatever I choose. And you know, many seniors choose to do extraordinary things. Minoru Sato from Japan sailed solo non-stop around the world at age 77. John Glenn became the oldest astronaut when he went into space at age 77. Yachiro Miura became the oldest person to reach the summit of Mount Everest at age 80. Faha Singh completed a marathon at the age of 104. Nola Och completed her bachelor's degree at the age of 95, and then went on to get a master's degree which she completed at the age of 98. I've seen youth in their late 20s or early 30s not complete their degree because they didn't want to take another couple years, even though they still have another 30 years to work that it would benefit them. Colonel Sanders didn't start franchising his chicken business until he was 65. Grandma Moses didn't begin painting until she was 78. I guess the point is, you're never too old to make life what you want it. I've heard it said, youth is wasted on the young, because so many people squander opportunities. They're defeated before they even begin. If you don't like what you see in your future, change your path. When I travel, I used to make mental notes of things I'd do next time I came to this location. Now when I travel, I recognize this may be the last time I ever come here. If I only visit my daughter once a year and I live to my life expectancy of 73, that means I'd only see my daughter and grandkids 8 more times. When my mother passed away a couple weeks ago, the last 2 things she said to me were, "I love you, I'll see you again, and may God bless you." And I share those same words with my daughter and my grandchildren. I love you, I'll see you again, may God bless you. After I left the mountain, I stopped by the Elvis Presley Chapel, where he filmed the movie Charo. Another interesting little tidbit to the Old West. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Make the most of the years you've got. And have a great day. Hope you enjoyed seeing the snow.